Today I'm reading chapter 25 of Out of Touch, Out of Time, Ray X Female Listener. Enjoy! Chapter 25, Norman Knows. Norman held the string telephone in his hand with a smile, thinking of the beautiful memories he had with his friends. Though, everything must come to an end eventually. The bedroom door opened to reveal Dawn and Gilda standing there with worried looks. Norman just smiled at them and placed the string telephone inside his suitcase. "Thanks for waiting, Mom," Norman said as he walked down the staircase in his jacket, white shirt, red tie, and brown pants. Mom turned around to see the boy standing on the stairs with a large suitcase in his hands. "Sure, let's go, Norman," Mom said. "Everyone is waiting." As the two arrived outside the dinner hall by the front door, they were met with all the sad faces of the children. Emma, Yu, Gilda, Dawn stood at the back of the room. Emma kept her head down, not wanting to see her best friend. Yu stood there with tears in her eyes, and Dawn and Gilda both had worried looks. "Don't get sick, okay? I hope your family will be nice to you," all the children said. Sherry ran up to Norman and gave him a big hug as she cried. "Norman!" she cried. "Sherry, please don't cry. You should say goodbye with a smile on your face, okay?" "Okay," Sherry said, trying to keep a big smile on her face. "Norman," Phil said, walking up to the boy. "Phil, do a big favor for me and take care of Emma, okay?" "Okay," Phil said with a sad smile. Mom turned to look at the four oldest, who were clearly very upset. "Jasmine, where's Ray?" Mom said. "The infirmary. He didn't want to say goodbye." "I see," Mom said. "Dawn, Gilda, take care of Ray, Yasmin, and Emma for me, okay?" Norman said, standing up. "You got it," Dawn said with a smile. Norman walked up to the four. "Yasmin, try to cheer up Ray, okay? I know you can do it. You always have. Stay strong. You are more powerful than you think." Norman said to you as you nodded with tears in your eyes. "And Emma, the rest is up to you now," Norman said, lowering his head and picking up his suitcase. "It's been fun, everyone. I'll miss you," Norman said with a smile. "Goodbye, Norman. We will miss you. Good luck, Norman." All the children cheered as Norman walked out the door. Emma couldn't take it anymore. "Norman, wait!" she screamed as she let go of her crutches and ran towards the boy. "Emma!" Yu yelled. Emma jumped and hugged the boy tightly. "Emma, I'll distract Moms. Please run away," Emma said, lifting the device Ray made to Norman's ear. Norman let go and took the device out of Emma's hand as she fell to the floor. "Look, I know you're reckless, but this is crossing the line." "Shut up! I won't let you go!" Emma screamed. "What's wrong?" one of the children asked, confused. "Why don't you understand, Emma? I don't want you to keep me from leaving this place. I just wanted you to send me off with a smile. So please understand how I feel," Norman said sadly. Emma grabbed his hand. "No, I can't respect those feelings, especially if you don't really want this," Emma argued. Norman's eyes widened as his face filled with sadness and a sad smile. "You're crazy, Emma. Reckless and unreasonable, naive and immature, but honest. Honestly, that's why Norman put his hand on Emma's cheek. "It's time, Norman," Mom said, putting his hat on his head. "Okay, Mom," Norman said, leaving Emma on the floor. "Wait!" Emma called. "Emma, calm down. I get you'll miss him, but you're getting hot-headed," Emma said, leaning closer to Emma's ear. "Cause any more trouble, and I'll kill you," Mom whispered, making Emma gasp. "Just give up," Mom said with a smile. "Before we go, Mom, can I say my last goodbye to Emma?" Norman asked, picking up her crutches. Oh, yes, of course. Hear that, Emma? Mom said, standing at the door. Norman reached out for Emma to take. Emma, thank you, Norman said, holding on to her hand. Yeah, Emma said quietly, staring at the floor. Sorry I tricked you. Make sure to heal up and don't be reckless. Okay. Stay healthy. Yeah. It's up to you now, Norman said, handing the box back to Emma and pulling her in for a last hug. Don't ever give up. Emma and Norman walked out the door and down the hallway, and as Norman looked up at the stairs, he was met with Ray, who had a sad expression with his arms crossed. Norman smiled as he left with Mom. Mom and Norman walked down the grassy hill, the sky full of stars and Mom's lantern lighting the way. Your suitcase is empty, isn't it? Mom asked. Well, for the most part. No matter what's in there, I can't bring it with me anyways. You would never run away from here. I knew it from the beginning. It's praiseworthy. You're doing the right thing. Ray and Emma can be shipped out maturely now as merchandise, Mom said. Not Yasmin? Norman asked, looking at the purple-eyed woman. No, though you already knew that about that, didn't you? I had a feeling you figured it out, Mom said as Norman sadly smiled. I doubt she will accept the path you give her. Looking at it from a merchandise's point of view, she just wouldn't do it, Norman said. Mom just smiled. You never know. The higher-ups are quite cold. She's different from them, Norman said, as Mom nodded. You'd be surprised, she said. Her with the others will live happily inside the house until the very end, huh? Norman asked. Yes, just as intended, Mom said. Norman closed his eyes for a minute. Mom, are you happy? He asked, which made Isabella's eyes widen. Yes, I am. After all, I was able to meet you, Mom said. The metal bars of the gate began to lift as the two stepped inside. Mom stood inside the room, leaving Norman alone. He walked towards the truck with a nervous look. Over here, Mom pointed at a room. Huh? Norman asked. Please wait in this room for a little while. The doors of the room opened and Norman stepped inside accompanied by Mom. It was the next day at the house. It was a bright and sunny morning. Good morning, my dear children. Now let us appreciate that all 38 of us can be able to live a happy life under this roof. Thank you for the food. Thank you for the food, the younger children cheered, as Ray, Emma, and you sat in silence. As the afternoon progressed, the weather became colder. The children were outside playing with the homemade small rockets they made. Emma sat under the tree with you, who was picking at petals off a flower with her free hand. Both shared the same look of sadness. Emma and Yasmin look so sad. I've never seen them so upset before, Phil said to Dawn and Gilda, who were hanging up bedsheets to dry. Yeah, me neither, Dawn said. And it's not just Emma and Yasmin, it's Ray too, Lana said. But Yasmin can cheer Ray up, Phil said with a cute smile. You can't cheer people up if you're sad too, Thomas said. Ray's been really depressed. They all seem so lonely without Norman, Lana added. What are we gonna do? I mean, for our sake, Dawn started. Who cares? Let's just die here, Ray said sadly. You can't just give up on this so easily. You've been planning this for years, you say. I really don't care about any of that anymore. The cliff makes it impossible to escape and the only bridge is attached to headquarters. I'm tired. I'm really fucking tired, Ray said sadly. I'm sure we can make it over the wall. I don't want to give up just yet. I know Norman's gone, but we can still... You started. Just shut up about Norman. Why do you care? You're the special one here. You'll probably live, Ray yelled, making you gasp and lower your head. Ray saw your face and turned sad, immediately felt regret as he sunk in his seat. Emma put her hand over your shoulder and walked forward to Ray, trying to hand him the tracker breaker. Keep it. I don't need it. If you all want to escape, do it. I'm sorry, I'm out. Ray said with sadness as Emma's eyes began to fill with tears. She walked out of the room, soon followed by you. Come on, Ray, Dawn said, watching the two girls leave the room. I'm sorry, Dawn and Gilda, Ray said. Emma threw herself onto the bed in the infirmary, sobbing as she held the small box in her hands. She looked up to be met with Mom. I did knock, you know. You didn't hear? Mom asked, which made Emma angry. She sat up on the bed as Mom put her hand on Emma's shoulders. Oh, you poor thing. You're suffering. Norman is dead, and Ray's a mess. Yasmin can barely hold herself together with all the pain and confusion, and you can't do anything of this on your own. You must be so exhausting knowing you'll never escape, Mom said, which made Emma begin to cry. You should have listened to me. The best way for you to not suffer is to give up. So stop resisting. You'll feel better. It's easy, Mom said. Emma refused to look at her. She sat down next to Emma, taking her hand. Hear me out, Emma. I've been thinking about it, and I would like to recommend you as the next mom candidate for this farm. A mom candidate? Emma asked. That's right. If you become an adult and have a child, and if they approve you of your abilities, you can return to this house as a mom or sister. You have the right to that opportunity. So if you are interested at all, then I'd love to recommend you. I know you're thinking, who would want to become such thing? But what else can you do to stop this? Mom asked, grabbing Emma's face. What about Yasmin? Emma asked, and Mom sighed. She has a more important purpose waiting for her after she departs from the house. If she chooses that path, or death, Mom said. It's over. You have nothing, and you can't save anyone. You can only curse death, or you'll continue to live this suffering cycle. So live and become a mom. Accept the despair and free yourself from this pain, Mom said. No, I can't do that no matter what, Emma said with tears in her eyes. Mom looked into Emma's eyes and stood up. Fine then. You can stay in agony as death awaits you. You'll never be able to escape. You'll come to realize this sooner or later, Mom said, leaving the room as Emma began to cry again. The evening grew darker as all the children were asleep. You were sitting in the corner of the library on the floor with a blanket and a pile of books. You were asleep with your notebook open in your hands. Ray walked into the library quietly, searching for the girl. Yasmin? Ray whispered loudly as he walked around the bookshelves. I'm sorry, I really am. It was wrong of me to say that. I guess it's just easier for me to take out the anger on the people that I care about most. I'm sorry, Ray said until he spotted you asleep on the floor. He smiled and sat beside you as he sighed. He looked down at the notebook in your lap, taking it into his hands. He smiled as he saw the drawing of him, you, Emma, and Norman. He placed the notebook on the floor beside him as he patted your head on his shoulder. What's going on? You ask sleepily as you rub your eyes. I came to apologize for being so rude to you earlier. I didn't mean a word of it, Ray said with a worried look. It's okay. I forgive you, you say, holding onto his arm. Really? I know you didn't mean it. It's just a hard time right now. And you're tired, I get it, you said before closing your eyes again. Thanks, Yasmin, he said quietly with a sad smile. The two of you fell asleep on the floor in the library as the moonlight lit the room. The next day came, and it was the first day of December. It grew colder outside, so the children put their coats on as they played outside. Emma sat under the tree with a sad expression as you and Ray spent time in the library, just as sad. You would spend all your time searching through books and secret codes, anything to try and help them, but they had no luck. Both were so exhausted. Mom walked into the room to check on them, but neither of them bothered the strength to fight anymore. "It's impossible," you say, sitting on the floor next to Ray. Ray said nothing and closed his eyes. Okay, thank you for listening to today's chapter. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back tomorrow for chapter 26. Have a good day, night, evening, whatever. I love you guys so much. Goodbye.